If you were born between 1969 and 1979, you are pretty much in the beginning, the middle, or the end of perimenopause. Not menopause, not when your period stops, not when you get hot flashes or you get seriously cranky. I'm talking about perimenopause. You can still get pregnant and you're still getting your period. It's not a short period of time. It may last up to 10 years. And because our diets, our lifestyles, our lack of exercise, levels of stress, it's not unusual to see women go through perimenopause for 15 years.
I'm thinking you might be perimenopausal.
I'm thinking you might be an ass.
These hormonal fluctuations can occur for about 10 years before you're actually in menopause. And even though underage you wrote timeless beauty, I think we might be in the ballpark.
I started in perimenopause 9 years ago when I was 39, and I think I'll hit menopause by the time I'm 52, 54, 6 more years. So that's going to be a total of 15 years going through perimenopause for me. During perimenopause, you will produce less progesterone, less testosterone, and your estrogen will begin to fluctuate. Once your body tries to adjust to these new levels of hormones, it doesn't go unnoticed. It manifests in one or more than one out of these 40 symptoms. On the other hand, menopause, it's only 12 consecutive months without a period. Compare 12 months to 10 to 15 years. Not knowing or not understanding the symptoms we get with this hormone change can definitely affect a woman's life. It's crazy to think that this is 2019 and women still don't know much about perimenopause. This is not something that just started happening to us. This happens to all of us, and it's been happening to us since forever. If you know about it, if you prepare for it, you can waltz through perimenopause. We need to be loud enough to guide the younger generations so you guys don't go through this. You don't have to wait precious years of your life trying to figure out or to cope with perimenopause. It's not necessary. The first time I came across the word perimenopause, I thought it was a fancy word for menopause. Not the same thing. Not the same symptoms, not even close. I found out about perimenopause not that long ago. I was experiencing 13 out of the 40 perimenopausal symptoms. Way too many symptoms to enjoy life. Once I figured out what was wrong with me, I wanted to enjoy life again, and in order to get there, I had to make a drastic change, a full 360. First, I had to address the fact that I had a very bad nutrition. Throughout my entire adult life, I should have been working out. I should have made sure that I had more lean muscle than fat. In my defense, I didn't know that you could eat or have a nutrition especially to support your hormones, and I didn't do that. I lived on diet sodas. Not once in a while. That was my water. To make things worse, I smoked for 20 years. I did quit 10 years ago, and I've never smoked again. My choices before perimenopause were the root of my health issues, up until recently. Once you find out about perimenopause, of course the question is, how do I know if I'm going through it right now? Of course, the easiest way is to either go to the doctor, and if you don't have insurance, you can take a home test. It is not expensive. I was very surprised. I'm gonna leave you the information for that test in the comment box down below. Check it out. It's not expensive at all, and that will tell you right away whether or not you are going through perimenopause right now. Or you can do a very simple calculation. We all get about 500 periods, so that's the equivalent of 41.666 years. Let's round it up. It's 42 years. Add 42 to your age when you got your first period. Let's say you got your period at age 12 plus 42, that's 54. Deduct 10, 15 years, that gives you the age when you should really start paying attention to your body. The other thing you can do is talk to your older female relatives. Talk to your mom, talk to your grandmothers. Ask them when their periods stopped. not when they started feeling the symptoms, when their periods actually stopped. That should give you an idea more or less when you are gonna go into menopause. Again, deduct 10, 15 years to that, and that's when you pay attention to your body. But keep in mind that when your mother or your grandmother went through menopause, it was a different time, different eating habits, different lifestyles, different stress levels. Life was just different. When perimenopause hits and you feel any of these 40 symptoms, it's not something that happens once in a blue moon. It's a recurring symptom. It's a symptom that happens all the time, every day. It doesn't go away, and you notice that it starts affecting your daily routine, your life in general. I went to the doctor for each one of those 13 symptoms, and every time I went to the doctor sent me home for medicine for each one of those individual symptoms. I was taking a lot of medicine, and not even the doctors were able to tell me that the root of my problem was perimenopause. It was just my body adjusting to the new hormone levels. I didn't need to be taking that much medicine. I just needed guidance. I needed to know the root of my symptoms. When I found out about perimenopause, I felt angry. I knew a lot of women older than me, and none of them told me about perimenopause. Once I got into the subject and I started reaching out to other women online, I realized that most women go through this and they just don't know what's wrong with them. They just keep going, feeling pretty crappy, but they just don't know. Most women over 40 attach any of these 40 perimenopausal symptoms to aging, and they have no clue that they're going through a huge hormonal shift. And to make it worse, a lot of doctors, way too many doctors in my opinion, are not guiding women during this period of time. I thought it was just me, but being in touch with other women on social media, I realized that a lot of women are just being completely misdiagnosed by their doctors. It would be great to have more doctors on the same page with us so they tell us what's going on and they don't prescribe us with so much medicine when we're too young to be taking that many pills. When things got out of hand, I had no choice to do my own research. I'm a little slow. It took me a little bit to put two and two together, just line up the dots. And once I figured out it was my hormones, the path was just paved for me. I went to study every little detail about the female hormones, what they do, how they work. And with that information, I reached out to every single perimenopausal and menopausal private group on social media to talk to other women, to compare notes. The more I interacted with them, the more I realized that we know about this and we're not getting the information out. The more I interacted with women from all over the world, that helped me forgive the women in my life. It's not an evil secret. They're not being just horrible women who just want you to suffer and figure it out all on your own. Women don't know. It hasn't been 100 years yet since we as a society learned about progesterone and estrogen. 100 years ago, women were placed in the Looney Tune bin because that's the age when we just go a little kooky. Back then, there was zero information of perimenopause. It was just the age when women just went cocoa for Cocoa Puffs. But that was 100 years ago. We have the internet, we have social media. Go online and type hashtag perimenopause. It's almost non-existent 100 years later, and women are still in the dark about this thing. It did go through my head that maybe everybody knew and I just didn't get the memo. So I Googled for any big celebrity out there talking about perimenopause. And there is only one. Gwyneth Paltrow is the only one who's gone out there and said, hey, I'm perimenopausal, this is what I feel. She's literally a year younger than I am. And of course, we're both going through it.
I think when you get into perimenopause, you notice a lot of changes. I can feel the hormonal shifts happening, the sweating, the moods. You're just like all of a sudden furious for no reason. My name is Gwyneth Paltrow. I am the founder and chief executive officer at Goop.com, and I am 46 years old.
The media's reaction to her video was really interesting. It felt like an act of bravery to come out and say, I'm going through perimenopause, when in reality, every woman, famous or not famous, born between 1969 and 1979, is pretty much in the beginning, the middle, or the end of perimenopause. All of us. And it's even more interesting that even though she clearly said perimenopause, the media kept referring to menopause. No, she's not going through menopause. It is not an early stage of menopause. She's going through perimenopause. It is totally normal at her age. She did that video in November of last year. It's been almost a year, and she's still the only one talking about perimenopause. We obviously need more big names, celebrities coming forward. It would be great for all of us to know what they've struggled with. Have they made any changes to their diets, lifestyles, exercise routines, any supplements that they're taking, helping them cope with perimenopause? Have they found a secret to actually tame these perimenopausal symptoms that they can share with other women, younger women? One of the things that makes perimenopause more difficult than it needs to be is being overweight. Too much store fat will create a hormone imbalance. Keep in mind that if you're going through perimenopause, you're going through a natural hormone imbalance. You're producing less progesterone, you're producing less testosterone, and your estrogen is fluctuating. And by being overweight, it will not make this transition go any easier. If you're in your mid-30s, perimenopause is right around the corner for you. This is nothing to be afraid of, but it's definitely something to prepare for, so you don't waste years, precious years of your life. The purpose of this video is to give you the heads up, so you know what's coming, so you prepare, so you take the time to find out about all these 40 perimenopausal symptoms. Because it doesn't matter if you're rich, you're poor, you're famous, you're a loner, you're tall, you're short, we all go through it. It sucks when you don't know about it and you didn't have the time to be ready for it. Here's why it's so important to be familiar with all 40 perimenopausal symptoms. Let's say you're feeling fatigue and it keeps happening and you try to sleep, go to bed early, but you can't fall asleep. And it happens for a long time. And then it's not so much that you can't fall asleep, you can't stay asleep. You get anxiety hitting you out of nowhere, even if you never had an anxiety attack before. That is only 4 out of the 40 symptoms. When you don't know that this is caused by the change in your hormones, you will think like you're dying. We all do. I'm not saying don't go to the doctor. Go to the doctor, get checked. What I'm trying to say is, if you're in your late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s, and you feel this, chances are you're feeling perimenopause. It's just your body trying to adjust to these new levels of hormones, and your body is getting ready to close the baby factory. Even if you're on the pill, you will still feel perimenopause. We live in a society where we fix everything with a pill. And yes, you can take a pill for any of these 40 symptoms that you may experience. But keep in mind that you're going to have to deal with the medicine's side effect, plus the fluctuation of your hormones. And it doesn't matter how much medicine you take, no medicine will ever make your hormones go back to the way they were in your teens, 20s, early 30s, mid 30s. It's not going to happen. You need to adjust to this new life, to this new stage in our lives. The intensity of the symptoms do vary from woman to woman. How many symptoms you experience is also different from woman to woman. Be mindful about this transition. Take the time, do the homework, do the research. In Japan, women this age only complain of a stiff neck. That's one symptom. Compare that one symptom to a list of 40 symptoms. In Japan, they don't even have a word for hot flushes. If you're in your 20s, early 30s, there are 4 things you can do to prepare for perimenopause. Eat the nutrition you need to balance your hormones. Stick to lean proteins. Eat lots of vegetables, green vegetables. Choose foods that are really high on phytoestrogens. Eat healthy fats. Being on this side of perimenopause, I can tell you, avoid refined sugar, empty carbs, processed food, trans fats. All those things will lead you down the wrong path. Exercise. Keep up with your muscle mass. Build enough lean muscle before you get to 40. Don't go by the scale. Learn how to calculate your BMI. You need to know how much of you is fat and how much of it is muscle. And then remember that after you go past 40, you will lose muscle mass super fast. So you need to make it a habit to continue to work out to keep up with your muscle mass loss. Keep doing that, you're gonna do great. Supplement your diet with vitamins and minerals that you're not consuming so you make sure you keep your hormones balanced. The right nutrition will support your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Or you can go to the doctor and get a prescription for a drug to help you with the symptoms. But you need to remember that all drugs have side effects. I don't have to tell you that the natural approach is the best. But this is your body, this is your life. Remember, you only get one body. Choose what's best for you. Take care of your hormones, and your body will take care of the rest. Study over and over shows that there's a high rate of suicide in women between the ages of 45 and 54. That is right when we are in the middle of perimenopause and we go into menopause. A coincidence? I don't think so. Hormones go out of whack, and if we're not prepared for this, and if we don't know, it becomes a serious issue. As a society, we're spending too much time telling women that it's okay to be heavy. Being overweight by unhealthy eating choices, not because of an illness, is the core and the intensity of most perimenopausal symptoms. There is a solution to navigate through all the symptoms, and it all starts with what you eat. It helps to find older women to talk about this, get their experiences, but remember that somebody else's experience is not your reality. What somebody else goes through doesn't necessarily mean that that is exactly what you're going to go through, but it's really good to get the conversation started. If you need advice, look for women who've made it to the other side of menopause successfully. It's like asking someone for love or relationship advice. You would never go to someone who's been divorced 5 times and can't hold a relationship for more than 3 months. It's exactly the same thing with your hormones. If this information is useful to you and you want to learn more about perimenopause and all the symptoms, subscribe to the channel. I will be posting more videos.